The Elder Scrolls Blades, the mobile Elder Scrolls game made by Bethesda. WiLLo Davis, how's it going? I've been playing this game in its early access stage for over a week now, and as of today, it is officially open to anyone with a Bethesda account apparently. Still in its early access though. I signed up for early access to this game probably literal minutes after it was announced months and months ago, and I was happy to see Bethesda actually acknowledge that and give some of the earliest signups the first access to it. They even gave me a little helmet and sword for signing up the first week, which were totally OP at the time they were handed to me, but I'm not complaining. Anyway, I'm very skeptical of mobile games, especially because of the freemium aspect to them, or pay to win, basically. It would be one thing if it was a free game that let you spend real money on aesthetic things that don't impact actual gameplay, but I just cannot justify ridiculous wait times on essential parts of the game that can be avoided by spending money continuously. For that reason, I choose to play the game without spending any money at all. Spending real money on in-game currency to level up faster or anything like that isn't something I think I'll ever support. However, if they chose to give people the option of paying a one-time fee for a full version of the game, I would be happy to pay for it for something like this. But the likeliness of that happening here is slim to none, judging by the $100 crates that they're already offering in the in-game store. We'll get more into the problems with this later, but it's time to get into the actual gameplay. I remember opening this game up and actually being very impressed with the environment, setting, and graphics. It's crisp and rich and doesn't feel hastily thrown together. It's detailed, but it still knows it's a phone game with mostly linear pathways, clearly indicated interactable objects, and every button and stat clearly visible at all times. Holding the phone sideways, you can be fully immersed in the world, completely veg out, playing the game for long periods of time. But the best part about this game is that Bethesda knew people were going to be playing this in all different places, like at work, school, walking down the street, mid-conversation, and so they managed to make the game just as playable with your phone in upright position and even with the volume off. You can literally one-hand this game and even put it down and pick it up back up as long as you're not dangerously close to engaging in combat. In the game, I mean. And speaking of combat, it took a while to understand the flow of it, but it gets pretty exciting. It's suspenseful, block, dodge, attack, heal, and requires a level of skill and understanding. You learn enemies' weaknesses, recognize their different attacks, and it makes it a really rewarding experience to improve. One thing that I struggled with initially was with the combat is healing. I picked an Argonian for my character, mostly because of the health regeneration that was promised. As it turns out, your health does not regenerate outside of combat at all. You either have to find little treats scattered around the level to heal, which are scarce, or use a potion of healing, which you can't even make yourself at the beginning of the game. I was gonna, you can actually, there's a guy who you can switch your, like, character and race and everything if you want. But then I looked and all of the other perks to the other races are like as insignificant, so it didn't really matter. I originally went for light armor, as it apparently helps with stamina regeneration, but being that stamina does regenerate outside of combat and health doesn't, I switched to heavy armor for as much defense as possible. I also recommend this dodge heal move, as it's really the only healing ability I've seen so far, and I use it constantly. Once you get an alchemy shop up and running in your town, this gets better with the ability to brew your own potions from the stuff you were collecting from missions anyway. Did I mention that you have a town? I don't want to dig too deep into the story, but yeah, you have your own little town to build and develop, which is basically the point of the game. Mine is New Coral, where my coral peeps at. Now for the jobs and quests. Some of the quests are interestingly designed with long levels and a whole narrative to the mission. Smaller quests and pretty much all the jobs are very linear, straight to the point. Kill 4 skeletons and find 6 fire salts, but they're good for collecting resources and experience. There's a few different map types like forest, cave, alien ruin, and fort. Admittedly, some of these little side jobs don't really make much sense and get repetitive, but it is a phone game and it's still fun to collect shiny things no matter what the context. Some of the enemy choices are a little wacky though, like did the goblins sign a treaty with the draugrs and trolls, or are they just like naturally symbiotic or something? Now, anytime you go into the world from your cozy town, you'll no doubt encounter some chests, like a treasure chest. These are the game's loot boxes. They take time to open after you set them to unlock. The wood ones open in a few seconds. The next level up, the silver ones, open in 3 hours. And once you get up a few levels, you're going to start getting at least 1 silver chest per mission, and that's a lot of f***ing time. These things will ravage your storage, so for this reason, I highly recommend spending your green gem things on chest space and maybe a little inventory space. Do not use the in-game currency to just make something finish faster. You'll be kicking yourself later when you need it for something that can only be bought with them, like chest space. And if I have silver or gold chest unlocking, sometimes I'll just use gems to open a few wood chests, since it's only 1 each. Gold chests take 6 hours to unlock, by the way. But I think Elder Scrolls tweeted something vague about adjusting silver chests or something, so we'll see how it goes. Speaking of wait times and in-game currency, a few hours into the game is when I finally started hitting a wall. The only missions left were too hard for the weapons and armor I had, and I was all out of potions, and my chest space was totally full to the point that I was just tossing silver chests away that I had found. Spending a few dollars on in-game currency to speed things up seemed like the answer, but we all know I wasn't going to do that, so I was feeling pretty discouraged. But I waited, and the chest finally opened to reveal some better equipment. My alchemy lab finished building, and I was able to get some more chest space. So getting over this speed bump and starting to figure out the delicate balance of things to keep the game running as smooth as possible really kicked things up and made me appreciate some aspects of it. You can really dig yourself into a hole if you're not leveling things carefully. First of all, as I said, don't spend the gem things on finishing tasks faster. They're all background tasks, so just find something else to do in the meantime. Don't spend all your gold and resources on crafting and tempering equipment that's just going to be obsolete in 2 levels anyway. You'll need that stuff to upgrade your town. When leveling your character, don't spend skill points just because you have them. If there isn't any abilities or perks you want right then, you're better off saving them till more options are available. Again, these are just my thoughts on the game in its current early access, and I'm sure things will change along the way. The arena isn't even open yet, which I guess is going to be PvP. I don't really remember. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of people are just jumping into the game for the first time today, so I wanted to give my early impressions of it for anyone who might be hitting speed bumps and wondering if it gets better or worse as it goes. As I've said, it's been going pretty smooth for me for right now, but we'll see how it all plays out in the future. If this video is helpful or interesting to you, give it a like, smash subscribe, and I'll see you next time. WiLLo Davis, out.